Human beings never change, bro. It doesn't matter where we live. It doesn't matter how many thousands of years go by. We're always going to be trying to flex on each other to get status. And we want to get status because what? Because the status is what attracts the women. And then occasionally you have some outlier guys, because don't get me wrong, there are some outlier guys that can get girls even though they have no status. But those guys are outliers. They're pariahs. And I think that in ancient times, guys like that would have been ran out of the community. They would be living in the wilderness by themselves. Just like I told you guys that in ancient times, if you were a lepra, if you were homeless, if you were a fucking vagrant, if you were a fucking criminal of any sort, they would just shun you. They would just shun you. They would take you out of the city wall, and they would kick you out into the edge of the fucking city. You'd be in the fucking forest. You'd be a freak in the forest. And that's why most human beings stayed within the confines of society. They didn't outlie. They weren't outliers. They weren't trying to take advantage of each other. They weren't trying to scheme. They weren't trying to lie. They weren't trying to be criminals. Because for the most part, if you got kicked out of the city in ancient times, if you got kicked out of the area where all the people lived, where they had the city, the core city, they had the fucking, where the nobles lived, then they had where the normal merchants lived, then they had where the normal people lived, then they had the city wall, the inner city wall, then they had the place where basically the suburbs where all the villagers lived with their villages and their farms. They had another wall, and then outside of that wall, it was just wilderness.